Everybody go. Everybody go. And I don't know no better, but as far as I came, it felt like forever. Seconds turn to hours, days turn to months, let a year pass by, but don't feel like much. So if I got one chance, I'ma make y'all dance. I'ma have as much fun as I can and figure out the rest when I add y'all to plan. Tonight is the night, is the night that we're losing control. Tonight is the night, is the night we set it on.
You're listening to Whip Radio. You can find us on the iHeart Radio and Radio FX app and on social media at Whip Radio. And action. What's up, everyone? You're listening to Film Maniacs here at Whip Radio. I'm your host, Emma Booth, everyone's favorite journalism and anthropology major, but separately a lover of movies and film. If you're a frequent listener, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. We're so happy to have you. You're listening to a station called Film Maniacs, where we dive into director styles, score choices, just talking generally about a variety of films that we enjoy, and sometimes TV shows. And today is one of those days. So for anybody new, I typically do episodes with my co-host Ava, but this semester she is studying abroad in Temple, Rome, and I miss her a lot. And she will be back in the fall to resume her duties. But in the meantime, I have a very special guest with me today. You know the drill. It's not just me, and I'm joined by another fellow Temple Tapper, the third Temple Tapper to grace the show, and one of my very good friends, Juliet Morgan.
Hi, guys. My name is Juliet. I have a theater major, and I'm also a sports management minor. I've always loved watching movies and TV. I think it's super fun getting sort of transported into a different world and just getting to follow the lives of characters that I come to love so dearly. A fun fact about me is that I was just in a world premiere musical here at Temple.
Yeah, she's very, very talented. So if you ever have the chance to go to any Temple musicals or plays, support your local arts. Support the Temple MTs.
Period.
So yeah, today we are going to get into talking about TV shows a little bit. We don't normally talk about TV shows. Obviously, it's called Film Maniacs, so I like to stick to movies, but I feel like it's fun to dive into TV shows, and because they're also cinematographic. I don't know. Cinematic. They're cinematic in a way as well. I don't know. My relationship with TV, I'm very much like, I have my comfort shows that I watch over and over again, and I kind of, like, more recently, I just haven't been wanting to stray away from those in any way. I don't know, like, I just stick to what I like, but I've been getting in. I just started watching The White Lotus.
Me too.
And I'm getting into it.
Wait, what season are you on?
Literally season 1. I just started.
Me too.
And I'm on, like, the 3rd episode, but it's really good so far. But yeah, what's like your typical TV watching experience like?
I grew up watching TV with my family a lot, so a lot of shows are like social for me. But I do also watch a lot of shows like kind of repetitively. One thing I love though, I watch reality TV a lot, like Survivor and Big Brother and like some of the like Too Hot to Handle, some of the like crazy love shows. Do you watch Drag Race?
I forget.
A little bit, yeah, not too much. My roommates watch it, so sometimes I'll sit down with them.
Yeah, but, that's like the only reality TV I watch, but I'm like obsessed with Drag Race. If you know me, you know I'm like a very big Drag Race fan.
I'm obsessed with Survivor right now. The newest season is really good. But
yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about TV shows, getting into sitcoms.
Yes.
And I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with sitcoms because there are some that I just find really cringy and like not good, and then there's like a good amount, but there's a good amount that I really, really like. I don't know. I love a good sitcom to binge. I think the genre has really evolved a lot since the beginning, and I really like the direction. I really like where the direction of TV is headed because I feel like TV shows are genre bending a little bit more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like they're kind of going, like you can't put the popular TV shows out that are out right now into one singular box. Like they're a little bit of, sometimes they're a little bit of comedy, there's a little bit of drama, there's romance, there's so many elements that go into it, and I really, really love that because I feel like it makes TV more exciting and keeps things fresh.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So, like, writing witty comedy is really hard to do, and I feel like more recent shows like Abbott Elementary and like English Teacher are kind of like my current airing favorites that are like really continuing that legacy that sitcoms have like come to enjoy, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll explain a little bit, too, about, what makes a sitcom, sort of how it's got its start. This genre sort of emerged in the mid-20th century, evolving from actually, like, radio comedy programs.
Kind of like this one.
I was going to say.
Knee slapper.
Took off in the 50s with shows like I Love Lucy, sort of pioneering, like, key conventions such as multi-camera filming and, like, live audiences and things like that. They definitely diversified quickly through like the 60s and 70s. And then the 80s, I feel like, saw a lot of like workplace and more ensemble-based shows. Mm-hmm. We like The Cosby Show, for example.
Ooh.
And this just kind of helped like revitalize the genre by blending a lot of humor with still like a good amount of storytelling as well. And then, of course, the 90s ushered in a lot of like the golden age sitcoms that we all know a lot about: Seinfeld, Friends, things like that.
And we're not going to be talking about those, though.
yeah, we're not going to be talking about those.
Not going to be talking about 90s ones, because now
we're going to talk
like
about some more recent ones.
Yeah. And like sitcoms are in a different era now with the, they've changed from the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
90s was golden era, but now they're more like documentary
They're a lot different.
style.
I think those are some of the most well-known ones, but I like a lot of the recent ones, too. Like not super recent, but The Office is like a good 2000s example, which is nice, too, kind of like moving away from laugh tracks and things like that, which is most of the shows we'll be talking about don't have laugh tracks, which is awesome.
All of them don't have laugh tracks.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, all three. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. We're just going to get into it.
Yeah.
First show we're talking about is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which was created by Dan Gore and Michael Schur, who also created Parks and Rec, and Michael Schur also was one of the creators of The Good Place. Yes. He's also a writer on SNL. So it revolves around the 7 New York City Police Department detectives who are adjusting to life under their new commanding officer, the serious and stern Captain Raymond Holt, played by Andre Brogner. Andy Samberg leads this ensemble cast, which features Stephanie Beatriz, Terry Crews, Melissa Fumero, Jolo Truglio, Chelsea Peretti, Dirk Blocker, and Joel McKinnon-Miller. And the station's exterior is actually based off of Brooklyn's 78th precinct, not the 99th. But yeah, the show aired for 8 seasons, beginning in 2013 and ending in 2021. So, kind of a disclaimer from both of us. We have not watched the whole show. So, if you have watched the whole show and we are saying certain things that maybe change after season 4, please don't hate us. It is just...
Right. We're at season 4, beginning of season 5,
Yeah, I'm kind of in that era right now. But also, I'm, like, watching other stuff. So, and, like, I'm going to get into my thoughts later. But I feel like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is not, like, one of the most, like... It's very good, and I really like it. But it's not, like, reeling me in,
Yeah, it's not super deep. Like, you don't get to know the characters that well outside of their work.
But sometimes you don't really need to. Sometimes it's good to have just a show that's like that.
It's a good casual show, for sure.
So what were your thoughts about some of the characters?
I love Jake, obviously, like, main character. Like, he's meant to be, like, funny and lovable. Personally, and I think this is funny because I think you'll disagree, but someone I don't like is Gina, which I saw. I know you really like Gina.
Dang.
She doesn't crack my type of humor personally.
She is so my girl.
I do love Holt though. I think his dry humor is like perfect for the position he holds.
So good.
Yeah, I think he's hilarious. He's probably one of my favorites. Amy's kind of mid, personally, for me.
Yeah, I don't like Amy at all. I wrote that. I kind of have, like... Well, I don't have a lot, but I don't know if it's the way she's written or the actress, because I've never seen the actress in anything else.
Me neither. I'm not sure, but...
And it's also frustrating because there are I see this a lot where I really do love the mockumentary type sitcom format, like The Office, Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Abbott Elementary. They all do that kind of like mockumentary style.
Totally.
And I feel like a lot of those shows, they give a lot of attention to the male characters, and the male characters are a lot of like the more funnier bits. And
totally.
I feel like the female characters are funny, but they just don't have very much depth. They don't write them as well, which I think Parks and Rec is kind of an exception to this. And
yeah,
because I'm such a big Parks and Rec fan, I could talk about it forever. But yeah, I just think my point is Amy is very one-dimensional, and it kind of sucks because I do feel like it's kind of the way that she was written. But maybe it improves after season 4. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll come to find out.
I just think she's like cringy. All of her
super.
I think it's also like the jokes that she makes that are even like supposed to be funny just aren't to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of her.
Yeah. Some of my favorite elements, I feel like I've just been, I watched the show a long time ago, but I've been rewatching seasons like 3 and 4 the past few weeks. I love seasons 3 and 4. The beginning of 3 when they have like the alternate captains, I think is so funny. The one that comes in and like dies after like a day.
Yeah, Bill Hader. Yeah, I love him.
And then, kind of where I was just at a little bit ago was Jake and Holt like being in Florida.
I love that part.
Yeah, it's super funny.
That's why I feel like I have kind of tuned out since that part of the show, because I feel like it was so good.
Yeah.
And I also think this is something that I really like about this show, and I really like about Jake's character, is Andy Samberg is so funny. He's so good at sketch comedy. I've loved him on SNL. And also, like, his backstory with his family is really interesting, where, like, he kind of sees Captain Holt as, like, a father figure because his dad is not good to him. And I feel like he's not always a team player, but he has these humbling moments. And I think that Jake works as a main character because he's feeding off the energy of all the other characters. Like, his bit is feeding off of everybody else. And I hear this a lot when you talk about comedy. It's like sometimes, like when you think about certain comedians, you're like, oh, like Adam Sandler, he's so funny. But then you look back at old SNL clips and you're like, the funniest thing about him, or the thing that makes him funny, is because he surrounds himself with people that are funnier than him. Yeah. And it's kind of just like, you think about like the notoriety of a name like Adam Sandler, but you watch him back on SNL and like it's kind of just like
it's more about like wit, like in a response to other people's sort of jokes and
the
things.
Banter. Like he's good at banter, but sometimes I feel like they are being, and I feel like with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's just being hoisted by like the ensemble cast.
He makes a lot of good jokes. It's sort of after what other things that people say, and like in response to people, and like the comebacks he has are really funny and everything. But that I kind of like, especially that when they're in Florida, like I feel like it's one of the first times we really see both of them out of the element of like The Office. Yeah. Like I feel like, you know, there's the period of, the precinct. Yeah.
The Office.
There's a period of time when like Holt is gone for a little bit, but like seeing Jake out of the precinct, I think is really interesting and like sort of adds a different element to the show than we've seen before at that point.
Yeah, and I think his character has a lot of depth, and I like him a lot. And I also think Gina has a lot of depth too that people don't recognize. Like, if you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. Like Gina,
I think she has depth. It's not like that humor doesn't personally like make me laugh very much, but I certainly think she has depth. There's a lot of episodes where I feel like she says things and people are like either kind of confused or like intrigued by her, and like
I think she's a lot smarter than people think.
Oh, totally.
And I think she also has really good banter and really good one-liners. Yeah. And I think her humor with Captain Holt's dry humor, I also just I think Captain Holt is just so funny. Also R.I.P. Andre Brogner. He actually he died in 2023 very recently of lung cancer, and
gone too young.
They talk about it a lot, and like I also think it's interesting, Andy Samberg and Chelsea Peretti, who plays Gina Linetti, they're both they're childhood friends, like they are in the show.
Oh,
they're
that's
actually
so
childhood
cool.
friends in real life. They were friends since elementary school.
That's awesome.
So yeah, some other things I really like about the show. I really love the side characters. I love Melipne,
Yes.
who's played by Fred Armisen. He's like the side character that comes in and he just like, my name Melipne.
There's a lot of good side characters.
There's Halloween heist episodes, and
oh yeah.
actually, did you know that the cast doesn't actually find out who wins until they're done filming? Like they
Really?
they hide it from them.
That's
and
awesome.
like how they do
No,
it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't really think I would like the show when I first started watching it, but then I
didn't. It took me a little bit. Yeah. Because the first season's like, it's not bad, but it wasn't super funny for me.
Right.
Like the show definitely gets funnier as it goes on, in my opinion.
I think that's like most shows. Like I think that's what a lot of people say about The Office too. How the first couple seasons
pretty bad. Yeah.
And I think Parks and Rec, I'm just such a defender of that. The first couple seasons, they're not as good as the other seasons, but they're really funny in their own way. If you go back and watch, like I think they have some really good lines. And I like that this show is a show that I don't have to think about too hard. And
Me too.
Because I am like always analyzing everything. Obviously, I have a whole show about analyzing things that I watch. But I like that it's something I can fall asleep to, and I feel like we all kind of need to have shows like that.
Me too.
In a way.
And I know we mentioned this. I love that there's no laugh track. Like, it just lets it flow naturally and not make me
hate laugh tracks.
to
I
like
hate
laugh
laugh tracks.
at something. Yeah.
I'm so over the 90s laugh tracks and like the laugh tracks from Disney Channel. Like,
I know.
If you go back, like, obviously I love those shows, like all the Disney Channel stuff, but if you go back, like sometimes they're just unwatchable because of how the laugh track is every 5 seconds.
I know. It's super, and it's so loud. Like, it's just,
And my parents always used to say, how do you watch that? The laugh track's literally every 5 seconds. Like, there's nothing funny. And I was just like, no, I don't know.
Now looking back, I'm like, they were right.
Yeah. We're going to go into a little break. This break is going to be a little bit longer than our normal breaks. And so for break, I'm going to play a song off the new Men I Trust album because Men I Trust just came out with a new album. And a song from my favorite TV show right now, Severance. But I need new music recommendations. Please, anybody. Why is there no new music that I'm liking now? And I just haven't found new music that I've loved in a while, and it's sad.
Yeah.
So help me out. But we're going to go into break, going to have some good songs for you, and then come back and talk about New Girl. See you soon.
Rain pours down to drown. Wash my world in you. Sad too. All I thought I knew. Heaven, leave low. Why you don't know the early bird below. Sweet
asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day. I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.
We are back. Hope you enjoyed those few songs. I'm trying to figure out, there's something with the volume, so if the volume's too high, I'm gonna fix it the next break. But anyways, we're gonna get into New Girl, which is arguably probably one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. I don't really know if it's my favorite shows of all time. I don't know. It's just up there. I can't pick a favorite TV show. But
definitely a top sitcom, though.
Yeah, I would say top 5, maybe even top 3. But yeah, let's just get into it.
Yeah. So this series revolves around quirky teacher Jessica Day, who's played by Zooey Deschanel, Queen. After she moves into a Los Angeles loft with 3 men, we have Nick Miller, Schmidt, and Winston, played by Jake Johnson, Max Greenfield, and Lamorne Morris. And then former roommate Coach, who's played by Damon Wayans Jr., and then Jess's best friend Cece, who's played by Hannah Simone, later end up joining the characters a few episodes in. The show combines sort of comedic and dramatic elements as the characters who start out in their late 20s and head into their early 30s deal with, relationship issues, career choices, living arrangements, everything in between.
Yeah, I just think this show is genius. I think it's a very simple premise. It's one we've seen before, obviously, like late 20s, early 30s in the city, living together, men and women. But I think it does it in such a... I think the characters are so unique and so well written and can just, like, riff off of each other so well. I know, like, I've watched a bunch of interviews with the cast, and they say that a lot of stuff was improv in the show. Yeah. And you can really tell because they just have such good chemistry together.
Oh, totally. They're all hilarious.
Yeah, like, Schmidt is so funny. I love Schmidt.
Yeah. He's got to be my favorite.
I don't think he's my favorite, but he's definitely, like, up there. Like, Max Greenfield is so funny, and I keep seeing videos of people on TikTok who see him in public and yell at him and be like, 29?
He's definitely the most quotable. Like, he has the best lines.
Yeah. All of the things that I quote from this show, which I don't really quote them with my friends that much because I don't really know who knows the show and who doesn't.
Right.
But I think that they're all from Schmidt, most of them, like 90%.
Almost all of them, yeah.
I think if I were to do one of those BuzzFeed quizzes, though, I would be Winston.
Really?
Who do you think you would be?
I feel like I'd be Nick, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're not giving Nick to me. You're
maybe or Cece.
Yeah,
I don't think I would be
Cece.
Jess, though.
No, I don't think so. I think I could be Jess, maybe, but I think she's a little too quirky.
I know. She's too, like, gentle, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do love Winston, though.
There's, like, I could be any of them on any day.
Winston's the perfect, like...
Some days I'm a Nick, some days I'm a Schmidt.
Yeah. No, it definitely changes.
Yeah.
I feel like with Winston, he's, like, the perfect, like, wingman type, you know?
I love Winston so much. I want to be his best friend so bad.
Exactly.
I just feel like I am Winston, and Winston is me. I just feel like we get each other, and he's just so... He's so joyous. He just represents, like, black boy magic to me. Like, like when people say that, I think of Winston.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
And Nick is goofy funny.
I love
He's
Nick.
goofy funny. He's everybody's crush, I think.
Yeah. And he's just so relatable.
He is.
Like, for people that don't really know what they want to do with their life and who are, like, trying to, like, take off, like, a creative career.
Oh, my God,
like,
his book.
I know. He's writing that, like, the whole
Crazy.
show.
What's it, like, Pepperdine?
The Pepperwood Chronicles.
The Pepperwood
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and he's just... I don't know. He's super relatable, and I think that makes him extra, like, lovable, too. Mm-hmm. Like, he's so real.
Yeah, and I think his relationship with Schmidt, the Nick and Schmidt relationship,
it's perfect.
All the boy friendships are so cute and adorable. I love when men are actually emotionally intimate with their friends because I feel like it's frowned upon or like they just don't talk about stuff with their friends or things don't matter as much like emotionally. Yeah, and I love when it's like they're goofy with each other and then they're also real and emotional at times, and I think this show does that in a really great way. Yeah. And I also just love Nick and Jess too, but they're my OTP.
I think Nick and Schmidt is my favorite like relationship or at least friendship in the show. Because, like, they just, their banter specifically is so good. Mm-hmm. And, like, I feel like they have, like, the most jokes with each other, which I love. Like, it's so funny to watch.
Yeah. I also like Cece and Jess's friendship too, but it's just more of like a girly, fun way. And I think we've all been in that position. Like you're either the Jess or the Cece in the friendship. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say exactly. Like what's so funny about them is how different they are too. Mm-hmm. Like they just contrast each other so much.
But they've been friends since they were kids. But
I know, it's so cute.
Such stark, distinct lifestyles. Yeah, and something I really like about this show is I feel like I just love how male and female friendships are represented here. Totally. I like the way that they do this in a lot of sitcoms that are like this, where I feel like you hear so much. Like Cece and Winston, for example, my favorite, like classic Cece and Winston mess around.
Exactly.
Like,
I was just going to say the mess around.
But it's classic. And then Jess and like all the guys except Nick, obviously. And I feel like a lot of straight people are kind of against men and women being just friends, or they don't think that men and women can be just friends. Yeah. And I think there's so many, like, I don't know. I hate when people say that because they're always like, oh, well, the man will always, like, want her, or they're not genuine with each other, or there's always ulterior motives. Yeah. But I like how they're all genuinely so close with each other.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I feel like part of that is like, oh, guys will be guys or whatever. Because in the first few episodes, like, all the guys tell Jess that, like, they've thought about her, like, you know, in some sort of, like, sexual way like that. But I like how it's a quick thing and none of them try to, like, act on it with her and, like, make things weird. Yeah. And they all kind of, like, do swiftly move into, like, really good, unique friendships with each other.
But I also think that's, like, anyone. I don't know. like, maybe I'm just, like, a man, but I feel like, I don't know, if you have, like, maybe I'm talking too much, but if you, I don't even know what I'm saying, but, like, friends, I think some friends, it's, like, normal to, like, you all have some friends where you, like...
You can acknowledge that they're attractive.
Yeah,
and
you acknowledge they're
yeah.
attractive, or, like, you have a thought about them or something,
Yeah.
and, you, like, it's not like you really want them, but you just,
No.
like
Exactly.
it's not like you haven't thought about it.
I like how they don't act on it. Like,
Yeah.
and they can kind of joke about it with each other.
Yeah.
I love it.
And yeah, I mean, the dynamics of men and women can be very complicated, but they also don't have to be. And at the same time, the dynamics of women and women can be very complicated. The dynamics of men and men can also be very complicated, I think. But, you know, it just shows that there's a lot more depth to those relationships than a lot of people think.
Yeah.
And this isn't me saying that, like, men aren't still trash. I'm still a misandrist. Don't worry. But the fictional ones are okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that, like, I go back and forth about, and overall I like her, but just for her to be the main female character is so funny to me, because, like, I do frequently find myself getting annoyed by her. I don't know if it's because of how quirky she is.
I think that's the point.
Yeah. It's just funny. I feel like that's not the typical female character. I feel like the typical female lead is, like, you know, like, super hot, has her shit together. Not that Jess isn't, but it's just, like, she's such a, like, nerd, and, like, I feel like that's not represented often.
Which I honestly, I love. I love how weird she is.
It.
And normalize being annoying. Hello? Normalize being annoying. I think that we should all be annoying, because life is way more fun that way. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if you're annoying somebody?
I love specifically when she purposefully annoys the guys. I think that, like, shows how good their friendship all is, and, like, I don't know, it's almost like a sibling type of relationship at certain points with some of them.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah, I just feel like in comparison to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, New Girl definitely has a little bit more complex female characters.
Oh, definitely.
Like, not that Rosa and Amy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine aren't, like, cool, but I don't know.
We don't get to know them as personally in that show. Like,
maybe
Jess
we do
and
later in the
Cece,
seasons, like I said. But
yeah. Jess and Cece, I feel like we know a lot about, and we see them go through kind of, like, intense romantic relationships, and, like, you know, we see the whole thing with, spoiler alert, but, like, Cece getting cheated on. It's like, you see them go through a lot more, I think.
Yeah. I wish that, they do have more complex female characters, but the men, I think, are still, like, the funniest part of New Girl in a way.
Definitely.
Which I do wish that Jess or, like, the other female characters had more comedic moments that weren't just us laughing at how weird they are. Like, I feel like Jess's comedy is just physical comedy.
Her doing weird stuff.
Or her doing weird stuff, and we're more laughing at her. And I feel like the other guys are, like, having funny lines and being comedic. And I still think that sitcoms have a way to go with that and how they represent female characters.
Yeah, I agree.
And not making their comedic bit be, like, them as the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I agree.
Oh, yeah, some of my favorite moments. I love whenever they play True American.
Yes.
And I want to learn this game so bad, but there's so many rules. If you've watched the show, it's basically this drinking game. And it's True American. It's like all these presidents, and they have to play this game where they're standing on top of...
Like, the floor is lava. Yeah. There's so many rules. My friends and I tried to recreate the game once, and, like, it's so hard because there's not actually any concrete rules, but it's super fun, super silly.
Yeah.
Every time they play it in an episode, like, it's just hilarious.
I know there are people who've, like, figured out the rules on TikTok, but I just am really lazy. And
I'd love to try again. My friends and I tried, like, years ago, probably.
Also, when you're drunk, I feel like it would just be so hard to even get anybody.
I think that's why there are no rules.
Card games that we play, like, you can't even get everybody, like, they're like, oh, wait, which the next one?
Yeah, I feel like that's why there are no real rules to it in the show, because, like, in the scenes where they're playing it, they all seem so drunk. Like, you can see how many beers they've gone through and stuff. Like, I think that's some of the humor behind it.
There's just so much also that I quote from this show. Most of them are Schmidt. Some of them are Nick, too. Some of my favorites, Gave You Cookie, Got You Cookie.
And he's, like, crying.
Gave You Cookie, Got You Cookie, of course. Winston and Ferguson about to cook some pasta. Winston and Ferguson about to cook some pasta. I love it. A white man. A white man, no.
I know.
Love that
That's
one.
one of my favorite moments in the later seasons.
Yeah. 29.
Of course.
Mick Mouse.
Yes. Oh my God, Nadia.
She is so
Nadia.
crazy and
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Some of my favorite side characters, I really like her. I really like the gynecologist lesbian.
Yes. I forget her
She's
name.
awesome. Sadie, I think.
Yes. Yes.
And isn't there... Oh my God! There's this one scene that I can think of right now. It's with that. He's not a reoccurring character. He's just in that scene, and it's a cold open. And I think Winston's on a date or something, and it's this homeless guy that comes up and sings "Father Figure." Do you remember that? But it's not the homeless guy that's in the normal episodes.
It's like the heavier black guy.
Yes. And he's like, it starts saying, "I can be your father figure,"
and he's in like a diaper type thing. Yes, I know
he
exactly.
He just comes up to them and then walks away, and it's so good. And then my last quote that I wrote down was, "Little Wessa wants an avocado roll."
There's so many good ones. It's funny because I feel like the douchebag jar is so many of Schmidt's sort of trashier funny comments, but he's just funny in general. When he's talking
funny
about
when he doesn't try.
I know when he's talking about one of my favorite moments is the driving moccasins. When he has his kimono on,
the way he says chutney.
Yes, and then one of my favorites is when Nick and Jess are out and they're falling in love, whatever, and it's just Winston and Schmidt in the house and they're going crazy and he's doing a puzzle. Winston's doing a puzzle and Schmidt is it's on the box, it's a Japanese garden. Oh my God. That's one of my favorite moments of the show.
There's so many good moments in this show. I feel like every episode there's a funny quotable moment.
Oh yeah.
And I especially love the compilations that people put together of the out of context.
Oh yeah.
Because I think seeing them out of context is so funny. The one episode that comes to mind is the one where Jess has meth in her house when somebody's coming to a police officer for
Winston's test. Yeah,
and she's
it's crazy.
Everyone she thinks that she's high on meth, and she's not.
Also, I didn't even write this down, but just in thinking, I don't know if you knew this, but during every episode of the show, they say bear. In one way
Bear
or
Claw.
another.
Oh my God, I forgot about Bear Claw.
That's why his name's Bear Claw, because it made it so easy to get Bear into every episode. But even if not, looking through every episode, if you watch back, they say Bear one way or another.
Why? Why do they do that?
I don't know. I don't know if it was an inside joke with the director, or the artistic team or whatever. But
interesting.
Yeah, super funny.
Yeah. I just feel like the show works very well. The cast has so much chemistry.
Oh yeah.
I also think that. You talked about Jess earlier. I think that the reason that she is the main character is because she plays foil to everybody, and she's the obvious outsider or one that doesn't fit in. It's obviously all about her life, but she's kind of an outcast from everyone in every way. And I think although she's quirky and often kind of annoying when you watch the show, you realize that everybody else kind of is too, and she brings out those elements in them that they don't always show in their regular day-to-day life, and you can see how they defend her.
Yeah.
And
well, she's also that type of friend that's
she brings out their silliness.
That, and she's the type where if you're no, I don't want any help, she's gonna insert herself, she's gonna try to even if she's not actually helping, I feel that's kind of why too, she really does have a hand in sort of all of their lives and their relationships and everything.
She's a great friend.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And even when you think about her parent trapping her, divorced parents, she's that
and
girl in that way.
Her mom is what's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. This is honestly and also Megan Fox is in the show at one point.
I know the episode with Taylor Swift. So many people.
Taylor Swift is on the show.
She's in one episode for 3 minutes. Yeah.
Wait.
What? The episode when Cece and Shivrang are about to get married, and then they don't because Schmidt ruins the wedding. And they call it off.
I thought it was Winston because he did the prank.
Oh well, yeah, they all ruin it.
He did a Winston prank.
But then Cece calls it off.
That's how I am a Winston pranker. Also, I have a funny story. Finish your thought though.
But yeah, Cece calls off the wedding, and Shivrang is that's okay. I also am in love with someone else. And then
he goes out with Taylor.
Yes, his girl stands up, and it's Taylor Swift.
Oh, I totally know what you're talking about.
What's her name? I forget.
Taylor Swift?
No, in the episode, the character name.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I am such a Winston type pranker because when I was little, I really wanted to be a part of April Fools, but I never really know what's a good prank to do.
Me too. It's hard to tell.
And because I don't want to do something too far, but you never want to do something too little. And the joke about Winston is that he always goes way too little or goes way too big.
I know, it's so funny.
And for me, I went way too big one year, and I put toothpaste in my parents' shoes. Like, as for April Fools, like in my dad's nice dress shoes for work. And I was like, oh, like,
that's too far.
Well, it just wasn't funny.
I was gonna say it's just gross. Yeah,
it just wasn't funny, and it just like ruined his shoes. So
yeah,
and then he had to like walk in ruined shoes.
I think also another thing, the like romantic relationships that we see between Cece and Schmidt, and then Jess and Nick, like they're both like tumultuous in a way, the way they go back and forth and they break up, and like the cheating, and like it's kind of a crazy thing. And so I think
you really see the journey of it all.
Yes, seeing the journey between those relationships, and just seeing the journey of all of them going through different jobs and like sort of literally growing up together. Like it's really
awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I love it.
And I always hoped this is what my late 20s is like, but I fear that it probably won't be because my life is not a movie. Even
I know.
You gotta make your life a movie, guys.
I know.
Be the main character in your movie, in your
literally.
TV show. Be the new girl on the block.
Bye.
And that's how we're gonna finish this segment. So, since our third segment is a show that involves a lot of Spanish, I thought for break I was gonna do Spanish music break because you all know how I love my Spanish music. So
yes,
we're gonna go on break and enjoy some of these songs. We'll see you in a sec.
Baby, aquel día la pasamos cabrón. No sé por qué no me volviste a buscar. Yo pensaba que tú estabas en amor, pero solo quería otra noche para salir. Perdió, mi corazón no entendió. Solo fui otro que al diablo su pobre alma vendió. Por una noche de placer, y ojalá que por lo de él nadie te lo haga mejor. Porque cuando tú salgo a buscarte. Si dime que yo le llego a amarte. Canciones tristes, baby, llega a dedicarte. Creí que como un Pokémon iba a cacharte, pero tú tenías otro plan. Botellas de champán y yo te llevo al cielo como Superman. Pero tú eres Satán, fuego dentro un volcán. Y dejaste un desastre como un huracán. Pero tus besos son éxtasis, parece cáncer, baby, pero eres Gemini. Y vamos bien como Coca-Cola y Genesis, pero no te amo como Anuel y Karol G. Dime dónde estás, que yo te quiero ver. Como cuando lo hicimos después de beber. Me diste hilo y me perdí como un alfiler, pero tú eres un error que vuelvo a cometer. ¿Y qué será, baby, del ego? Sabía que me iba a quemar si jugaba con fuego. No solo te quería comer, y ojalá que por lo de nadie te lo haga mejor. Porque cuando tú estabas encima de mí, yo pensaba que sí, pero fuiste un fantasma y no te volví a ver, bebé. Yo te vi venir y escuché decir cosas. Cuando tú estabas encima de mí, yo pensaba que sí, pero fuiste un fantasma y no te volví a ver, bebé. Yo te veces te veo, a veces no. A veces sí, a veces no. Tocándote la cara y mirándote los senos. Yo te daría bien rico porque eso está nuevo. Y a veces te veo, a veces no. A veces sí, a veces no. Tocándote la cara y mirándote los senos. Yo te daría bien rico porque eso está nuevo. Dos pezones, un arete. Está muy rica, sé que cualquiera no te lo mete. Te lo pongo en el anillo si tú te comprometes. Y te abro las piernas como los gabinetes. La suela los tacos rojos y no es 27. Me la aprieto como un grillete. Se lo dejé de la mano como un brazalete. Todas tus hermanas, tú eres la margarete. Sin hacer cardio no me paras de correr. Se juntaron los planetillos que te quería ver. Te quiero ver. Yo sé que tú quieres, baby, déjate querer. Porque a veces te veo, a veces no. A veces sí, a veces no. Tocándote la cara y mirándote los senos. Yo te daría bien rico porque eso está nuevo. Y a veces te veo, a veces no. A veces sí, a veces no. Tocándote la cara y mirándote los senos. Yo te daría bien rico porque eso está nuevo.
Yo tengo lo que tú quieras. Sabes que no soy cualquiera. Yo tengo lo que tú quieras. Sabes que no soy cualquiera. Andaba bien dolido, pero hoy yo estoy mejor. La neta te perdiste de un gran amor. La neta te perdiste de un gran amor.
All right, we are back for our last segment, and we kind of been keeping this show a little bit of a secret. I didn't mention it on the Instagram, and then I also didn't mention it before, but that's because it kind of doesn't really fall under the same category as the other two shows. It's not exactly sitcom, but we kind of just want to talk about it anyway because it's, I don't know.
Still funny.
Anyway, we're talking about Jane the Virgin.
Yes.
So yeah, I would kind of categorize it as like a satirical drama, telenovela type. Yeah, I think it is a little bit more drama elements, but I can do what I want. So literally, as Bad Bunny says,
It's
"Yo hago
still
lo
a
que
lot
me da
of
la gana." So
comedy and lighthearted stuff too.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this. So yeah, you want to get into it?
So, Jane the Virgin ran from 2014 to 2019. We kind of already talked about it. It's like a dramatic telenovela style. It follows Jane Villanueva, who is a devout Catholic and aspiring writer, who ends up accidentally artificially inseminated during a routine checkup, leading to an unexpected pregnancy. To complicate matters, the biological father of the baby, Raphael, is a former crush of hers and a wealthy owner of the hotel where she works. So they all the characters sort of navigate love, family, and career together as she has this boyfriend on the way. Or, I'm sorry, this baby on the way. And her longtime boyfriend, Michael, is sort of all wrapped up in all this drama as well. We get to meet her mother, her grandmother, a few other scheming characters as well. And it's awesome. It has a self-aware narrator, a lot of plot twists, a lot of intense, funny moments, heartfelt moments, and it blends a lot of things together in a really unique way.
This was one of my favorite shows when I was like in middle school, and it's very goofy, and it's something that not everybody likes, and it's also very cringy sometimes. It's a lot, but I think it's entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And just getting into some of the characters, obviously we got Jane, Michael, Raphael, Petra, Rose, Luisa, Abuela, which is Alba, Xiomara and Rogelio. And, okay, controversial maybe, but I don't think it's that controversial. Low-key hated Jane.
Yeah, for me it's like...
And a lot of moments.
It's similar to what I was saying about... Hello, my brain's blanking.
Gina?
No,
Jess?
Yes.
Jessica Day?
Yes. It's similar to Jess, just in the fact that, like, she kind of annoys me sometimes. But
she gives, like, Rory Gilmore vibes in the way where she's supposed to be the main character and you're supposed to be rooting for her, but then you look back at a lot of moments and you're like, no, but, like, you were low-key a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you were kind of the villain in this moment, and why do we not talk about it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always been like Team Raphael.
Oh yes.
I just feel like why
I love it.
when Raphael is there, he's rich, he's hot, and he's nice. I don't know what more you need.
Well, he gets nice. He does start off as kind of like kind of fuckboy, like I don't give a kind of
little F boy.
Yeah, girl crazy. We'll say that.
Yeah, he's just a little much, but also I don't know. That's just a little bit more exciting. You know?
I know. Oh no, and you know he comes in and sweeps her off her feet. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, I just think, and especially when you have a kid on the way, like he has to step up, and I think he does. Obviously, she ended up choosing Michael, but then. This is huge spoilers, obviously, so stop listening for the next 5 seconds if you don't want huge spoilers in the show. But Michael dies, and then, they try to bring him back with the classic amnesia trope, and it was literally crazy.
Yeah, and then, like, he doesn't... Yeah, him not remembering her... Like, it's just a whole... I don't know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Because, he gets shot and he doesn't die. And then everything's fine again. And then he does die. And then... Like, it's just... This show
what?
has...
Oh, yeah, at the beginning. Yeah.
So this show has a lot of back and forth, like a lot. But I love that. It keeps
I also didn't really understand how they were able to bring him back in the plot because anyway, I don't. Whatever.
And Raphael was the only one that knew he was alive. Like that was crazy.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh
crazy.
My god.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I love Xiomara. I think she's... her name is also so fab. Love that name.
It's so pretty.
I think it's so pretty. I always love Hispanic names that start with an X.
Yes.
I don't know why I like Xochitl. There's some other names I'm blanking on, but there's I love those names.
Even just Zoe as a nickname too is so cute.
Yes,
like I love it.
Yes. She was just really that girl, and she did so much for Jane, and I feel like she got hated on by Jane a lot for being too promiscuous, being too much. But let the woman do what she wants. She's a grown adult. Come on.
I think I was very much always on her side, except once she did know who Jane's father was and tried to hide it, and he was the one that had to show up and be like, hey. That was a little crazy of her.
Yeah, I do think that she probably could have been more honest about that. But at the same time, I understand why, because she was trying to protect Jane. And yeah, I don't know. I just love her storyline. And I think it did take her a little bit to find her way as a mother, but obviously she was a very young mother, had Jane when she was 16.
Yeah.
And I love Rogelio. I think he's such a fun-loving guy. I love them
together, too.
Yeah, I think that...
I like once they're finally just settled.
Yeah.
Again, it's all spoilers, but once they just married and they're, chilling.
Yeah. The marriage scene was really cute. There's a lot of scenes where you get really emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Even though the show is all kind of a joke, it's all so unserious and, joking around. And you kind of watch it and you are also like joking around it, and then the narrator's joking around it himself.
Yeah. Some of it is intense though. I mean, with like all the crime stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and Rose. I mean, obviously like she's meant to be hated. She's like the villain or whatever, but she's also like that girl to me. Like the red hair, like she's like she eats it up.
She does.
She eats it. Again, literally all spoilers, but like when it's revealed that she's literally the crime boss, like girl, like okay.
Yeah, and she's just like
do it like that.
just like a hot lesbian. Like
she's
I love
perfect.
to see it.
She's perfect.
I love to see it. But I do think that arguably the lesbian representation in this show was pretty bad because Louisa is awful.
Terrible.
Literally awful. I think she has no redeeming qualities. I think she's annoying. I think she I feel like Gabby Hanna, I think you're ugly. I think you're bad. I think she's annoying.
And also once she like turns evil and like takes everything away from Raphael, like girl, like I don't know, she's just always doing too much for me.
She's doing too much.
Yeah.
And I don't even think at the beginning she was like, well, she's literally the reason that Jane was inseminated in the first place and never even like took responsibility for it.
Tipsy and like sad at work, like girl.
Yeah, her wife just cheated on her, and so yeah, when your wife cheats on you, oh yeah, I'm gonna accidentally inseminate somebody instead of give them a pap smear. It's crazy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Alba's my girl. That's Jane's grandma.
Yes.
And I don't know, she's stubborn like me, so I feel like we just
Yeah. And she goes through a lot too. Like again, this whole segment is spoiler alerts, but like when she's like pushed down the stairs and shit, like
oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Petra's mother. Hate her.
Well,
Speaking of,
she's like the villain of all villains.
yeah, and Petra too. Like, there's points in the show where she's cool and I like her.
She has a crazy character arc.
She
redeemed.
changes a lot.
Yeah,
and like the whole thing when her twin is there, she goes through a lot.
the twin. Oh my god, the twin.
Her evil twin. She goes through a lot.
Like this is so, and the show like makes fun of itself, so that's why I think it works. But everything just is so. Oh my god, there's an evil twin. Oh my god, he had amnesia. Oh my god, he came back from the dead.
They use like
oh
all
my god, she was
the
secretly a lesbian.
stereotypes.
They really do everything.
All the tropes. Oh yeah.
And then my last thought on a character, I hate Mateo. I hate Mateo so much. Every time that he comes on the screen, I think he's such an annoying little boy.
Yeah.
And
honestly, the twins too. They're all just annoying to me.
All the kids are annoying. You could have made Mateo at least a little bit more likable. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But that kid really. But I mean, when we find out at the end that he's actually been the narrator the whole time.
Oh, I know. That is crazy work. That is crazy work.
That's like
so
the
good.
big plot twist. Which
like that's
I feel
cinematic
like
to
you
me.
kind of knew, but I didn't expect it.
You don't expect it for a while. No, you just think it's like her grandpa or something. You know, like
or
some
you just
random
don't think
man.
it's like a character in the show.
Some
like,
rando.
I just thought it was a narrator, not like somebody. But then there's little things here and there where like the narrator will say things throughout the show that kind of insinuate that they are actually a part of the story.
Yeah. Like he's always in it. He always knows what's going on.
So there's kind of those meta moments that are really nice, and I feel like if any other show did that, I would be kind of cringed out. But because it's Jane, it just works.
It's perfect. Like that's like the premise of the show. It's perfect.
Also, the music was just really iconic. Like every time you hear the ding 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 ding.
Yes.
Ding, 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 I just like I'm transported back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I like the show a lot. It brings back a lot of good memories. I feel like it's very show that I watched in middle school that just is very wholesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the whole thing with all their hearts glowing, like, there are a lot of wholesome moments. But I love that it's kind of like a roller coaster ride. Like, there's so many ups and downs, so much joy, but also so much heartbreak. Mm-hmm. So many, like, literal killings with, like, the whole crime scene. Like,
and you want to not be into it. You want to, like, when you're watching it, you're almost like, wait, but this is silly. Like, this show is, like, it's kind of almost, everything is so unserious that you don't really expect to be so invested in the characters and
but you are.
What they're going through, but then you are, and you're crying, and you're on the edge of your seat, and you need to watch the next episode.
The plot twists are crazy. There's a lot of cliffhangers, too.
Yeah. And it's just all about family in the end. It's all about family, and it's very representative of Latin American families in the U.S. who really look to their families through all the ups and downs of life. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I grew up with a lot of Mexicans and Hispanic people, and I feel like I've gotten to see into Latino culture and been invited into it, and it is just really so beautiful, and it's so rich and diverse, and you really can't put Latinos into boxes or stereotypes either, and I feel like this show represents all of that diversity amazingly. And it's also about women.
Yes.
It's like all about these 3 generations of women.
Yeah.
And just that, like, the female struggle story, and
I love
it.
I
Love
love the 3 generational women, but also like Rose and Petra are both such strong female characters. Like I love how the females kind of lead this show, which is kind of opposite
And
of
they
what we were
all-
saying with the past 2 shows.
yeah, even with Petra
Yeah.
being kind of like the villain at the beginning, like she's
strong.
she's you know, they kind of bring her into their family, and you can just really see how inviting and welcoming this family is to even people who wronged them at one point. Like her mother literally pushed her grandma down the stairs, but she is still forgiven. And
especially once she has kids with Raphael, like it really is one big family by the end. Which is crazy.
She also, girl, that was crazy. The turkey baster.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We don't talk about that. But yeah, I love how loyalty really shines through in the show, and like you can kind of see it in every aspect.
Yeah. This show is just like really amazing, and all these shows we talked about today are ones that I really, really enjoy. So
3 good ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to stop rolling. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you're just chiming in. You can check out my latest review on Letterboxd. My user is eboot7. Do you have a Letterboxd you want to plug?
I do, but I don't know my username. It's okay.
Oh, well. Follow Film Maniacs on Instagram, filmmaniacs.whip, you know the drill, and Whip Radio to you.
Yes.
I'm always looking for movie recommendations, topic recommendations, so feel free to DM the account. As always, whipradiotoyou.com will be your go-to location to stay up to date.